that it's important to both of us that we don't want to decouple our economies. We want to continue, and we think we both benefit from trade and investment, but that it needs to be in a level playing field.
If that was hard to hear, Ambassador, she's talking about not decoupling, as we've heard before, but that it needs to be on a level playing field. And we're hearing that this administration is carving out space to protect additional new industries, like we've seen with high-tech chips, for instance. And I wonder to what extent you see that, in fact, leading to a decoupling.
Well, there will be some natural decoupling with countries all around the world and involving many different sectors, because as the pandemic demonstrated, no country wants to be overly reliant on supplies, whether it's consumer goods, manufactured goods, or medical supplies from another country. Because if there's another pandemic or even a natural disaster, a huge earthquake or political upheaval in another country, we don't want, for instance, companies in America suddenly cut off from so much of what they receive from China, which is why you're seeing a lot of companies, multinational companies, U.S. companies, foreign companies, diversifying their supply chain so that they're not so reliant on China. So much of what American consumers use every day and purchase every day in their daily lives comes from China, whether it's microwaves, whether it's the tools that they use, clothes and shoes, barbecue sets, you name it. Much of that comes from China. So that creates jobs for the Chinese people. At the same time, China depends very much on American-made goods, including our farm goods, our agricultural goods. China is America's largest agricultural export destination outside of Canada or outside of North America. And so our farmers depend on selling their soybeans and their wheat and their apples and their cherries to China, along with Boeing. Boeing's number one, most of Boeing airplanes are sold to carriers around the world, including China. So our economies are intertwined, and which is why Secretary Yellen is saying we don't want a complete decoupling, but companies, whether Chinese companies or American companies, are beginning to diversify their supply chain to include other parts of the world.